There's a beauty in simplicity. There's an art to taking an idea and pushing it much further than it was ever intended to go. What started with Jumpman back in the original Donkey Kong has evolved and changed into something barely recognizable, spanning 30 years and over 200 titles to become arguably the most recognizable commercial entity of all time. But to trace the evolution of Mario, one has to look past the colorful characters and the bizarre, incomprehensible world they inhabit and look at these games for what they are fundamentally: platformers. While Donkey Kong and Mario Bros. Had a sort of precise, pre-calculated jump, it wouldn't be until the subsequent Mario Bros. That gravity would be implemented, allowing a semi-realistic vertical climb and fall, as well as being able to manipulate horizontal distance with the new mechanic, the run. It was these two elements working in tandem that changed a movement in a platformer from a means to get to the next puzzle into the puzzle itself.
最初ドンキーコングで作った時はまず一旦飛んでしまうと空中で移動できなかったんですね。マリオブラザーズの時に高いところから落ちても大丈夫、それから空中に飛びながらも少し移動できるっていう風にして、それをだんだんと進化させてきて。
The player had to calculate run distance and time, how long to hold the button, when to let go. The running and jumping became both the obstacles and the means by which the player overcame them. It was no longer the player versus the game, but rather the player versus him or herself. Super Mario Bros. 2, or Lost Levels as is known in the West, would add a few environmental obstacles, such as wind, but these would prove to be poor mechanics as they broke the trust between the player and the game, resulting in deaths simply due to bad luck. By the third installment, the main obstacle of the game, gravity, could be ignored by running far and fast enough. Flying in Super Mario Bros. 3 was a new puzzle mechanic unto itself. The world became both horizontal and vertical, a natural evolution of the mechanics originally set in place in the original Super Mario Bros. Game. The next game, Super Mario World, would allow the player to bounce and glide through the air with a new capability, further expanding the game both vertically and horizontally, requiring precision and a precise understanding of the physics of the game. When Mario moved into 3D with Super Mario 64, the games had to fundamentally change. It was no longer about vertical or horizontal movement. With the introduction of the third dimension, flight and gravity became much less important, and power-ups were drastically reduced. Taking the mechanics back to basics, the focus was once again on running and jumping. But it was so much more than that. Mario could now twirl, kick, somersault, handspring, and much more. And all of these were available from the beginning of the game, and it was up to the player to find them and understand how they worked. Rather than simply getting power-ups to allow Mario to overcome obstacles, Mario himself became the puzzle. Super Mario Sunshine would be a huge departure from what Mario games had been up to that point, and much like Super Mario Bros. 2, wouldn't have much lasting power in the grand scheme of things, although the game itself was good in its own right. However, the 3D Mario formula would be further evolved in Super Mario Galaxy. The first two 3D Mario games had much less focus on the mechanics of the 2D Mario games, vertical and horizontal movement, and gravity, and focused on depth and how Mario traversed back and forth. In Super Mario Galaxy, gravity became the main mechanic and obstacle for the player to overcome. It was no longer a force to pull you back down to the ground, but rather an ever-changing, ever-evolving character in the game. It was up to the player to learn how to run and jump while being pulled in every which direction, and to understand how and when the gravity would change, and how to adapt to it. In many ways, Super Mario Galaxy brings the mechanics back to the classic Super Mario game. However, this is where the Mario series would falter and lose its way. Nintendo took the Mario series back to 2D with the new Super Mario Bros. Series and continued in 3D with Super Mario 3D Land and 3D World. While these are very good games on their own, they failed to do what every Mario game had done before: to evolve and build on the formula of the run and jump. Power-ups, like the Mini Mushroom, would slightly change how physics affected Mario, but not fundamentally change the game. And of course, the Mega Mushroom would do away with all fundamentals and, in many ways, break the relationship between the player and the game. While the P-Wing in Super Mario Bros. 3 was similar, it was a reward, a secret item that you sought after and worked for, whereas the Mega Mushroom would be a core mechanic of the game. The newer 3D Mario games would also fail to build on the mechanics of the previous ones, and are instead a rehash and in many ways a simplification of what had come before. So where does Mario go from here? Currently, we know that Nintendo is throwing out all conventions of the Zelda franchise with the newest installment, Breath of the Wild, and perhaps they need to do the same with the Mario franchise. You see, Mario games aren't about gimmicks and power-ups. It's about the relationship between the player and the game, the trust in the mechanics that has fostered the Mario series and the games industry as a whole all these years. It's all about the run and jump. For a more detailed look at the lore and history of the world of Super Mario, be sure to check out this video right here. This Evolution series is tied to the lore series narrated by the epic voice of Jason Dameron. And the next video will be about either Donkey Kong or Paper Mario. So vote for which one you would like to see in the comments section of the lore video. Thank you all so very much for watching this video on the Commonwealth Realm. My name is Alex Meyers, and are you interested in untranslated Japanese indie games? And are you interested in funny, hilarious, or really dumb websites and articles on the internet? Well, if it sounds interesting to you, go on over to my channel and subscribe. Link is down below. Above all else, have a great day, and we'll see you all back here on the Commonwealth Realm.